Alright, so in today's video I'm going to show you probably the most fun and lucrative activity in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which is the weekly Gutenberg tournament. This is going to give you some of the best endgame items as well as thousands upon thousands of Groschen pretty much every time you win. And this is going to be done via a completely missable side mission that has completely different endings depending on your choices. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Now, one thing to note before we actually proceed to the mission is that you can repeat this tournament pretty much endlessly. You can just wait one day after finishing the previous one, talk to the same NPC, and you can start another one. In fact, you can even pay him to time skip and start directly at the tournament with all of your HP intact and pretty much all of the buffs up and going. And I'm already on my 7th or so week, and this is what I'm getting in terms of results. So there's 3 chests for the 3 competitions we can take part in, and each will provide over 1200 Groschen as well as 1 random end game item. So just to show you, I got the Nobleman full armor set and also in a completely different tint with a red tint instead of the typical blue. I haven't seen this being sold at any vendor, so I'm not sure if it's RNG, but I did get it from the tournament. I also got a ton of really cool looking nobleman attire, even like blue versions that look way better than anything else, and also one of the best, if not the best saddle in the game, the Krakowian one, which is on the same level as the dragon saddle. So these are just some of the options, but there are many more drawn from the pool of best items in the whole game. So let me show you what you need to do in order to start this quest line, which is called Ars Demicatoria, as well as all of its possible rewards. To do so, you will need to talk to Menhard von Frankfurt right here a bit up north from the merchant district in Gutenberg. Typically, he will be right in front of this house during the day, flailing his sword and challenging everybody to a duel, which you're going to want to go ahead and accept. Defeating him should not be too difficult, especially if you have Master Strikes. So if you're done with that, at the end of it, you're going to notice the Gutenberg Brotherhood coming in and putting a stop to it. For now, whatever you do, just be on his side. So mention that he's a friend of our King Wenceslas, and also mention that he did not break any law. And at the end of it, if you don't want to pay any fine, just say that the reason you dueled was because you offended Menhard. In either case, after this, you're going to want to follow Menhard at a nearby inn, where you will devise a plan to take down the Brotherhood, which is going to involve stealing a sword from their headquarters and displaying it on the town hall so that it appears that they have made a challenge towards the Germans. And it's at this point that you can now branch out the story, and this is something that the game doesn't even tell you. It doesn't even point a marker on the map that this is an optional thing that you can do. So if you just follow the objectives normally, you're going to follow Menhard's plan to go ahead and set up that duel. But if you head over right here to Butcher's Amuram's shop, Amuram being part of that brotherhood, if you wait 1 hour in front of the shop, he's going to eventually make his way back in, and you can go ahead and divulge Menhard's whole plan to him. Point at which you're going to open up a completely separate and completely optional other side of the story that will bring you to its other different ending. However, you have to know that in both of these endings, you're going to still be able to completely unlock that tournament every week. Second of all, you can still change sides all the way until the day of the tournament, and even then, both of them will provide different rewards depending which side you choose to win. So let's get started with what I would say to be the good ending, in which we get to help Menhard set his plan into motion. In this one, you're not going to want to alert anybody, just head over to the headquarters of the Brotherhood. And you're going to want to make absolutely sure that for the next scene, nobody sees you stealing that sword, otherwise eventually you're going to fail and you're going to be accused of cheating. So in this case, what I recommend doing is during the day, you can freely enter the outer courtyard. So go ahead and do so. And you can then rob this NPC sitting by this barn of his keys to the whole building. Just make sure that when you rob him, nobody walks behind you, as NPCs do tend to travel in the area a little bit. Once you've done so, exit the area completely and just set the time to midnight. Now from this point on, if you got the keys, or even if you don't want to enter the same route, you can just go to the right side instead, enter this other alleyway all the way until behind this house, where you will see a bunch of platforms you can use to jump straight into the courtyard of the Brotherhood. This is in case you did not steal the keys or just don't want to be noticed. But once you are on the other side, you're free to enter the house, and the first thing you should do is to go to the first floor. If you head over here to the right, you're going to enter the main hall, which also has the sword that you want to steal right here up this wall. If you did everything perfectly, nobody should see you until now, but dark clothing will help you even more to sneak in the darkness. Now, if you want to make like at least 1,000 extra Groschen and get some amazing swords from the area plus some extra gear, you can definitely go to the room across where one of the Brotherhood members is sleeping. In this case, I recommend robbing him of his keys, as that's going to make it much easier to open the otherwise very difficult to lockpick chests. In the first one, you're going to get a very good sword, but if you go in the smaller room right by his bed, there's going to be a couple of extra chests that provide even better items, including an even better sword than that. So a great long sword, especially for duels, but also 870 plus Groschen plus a bunch of other very high value items you can go ahead and steal. Just do this without getting noticed and nobody will bat an eye later on. And from here, all that's left is to place that sword on the town hall wall, so simply fast travel over there, and if there's any guards, just wait until they patrol away or use any of your pebbles to distract them momentarily. Once you place them without being seen, just go back to Manhard, pass the time if you have to, and tell him that the plan is pretty much set. Point at which you're going to then meet the Brotherhood back at the town hall, which is going to then kickstart that tournament. Just make sure that during this dialogue you agree to join him in the fight as the third dueler, as well as swear in an oath, which I'd say is a pretty cool detail. And then the tournament day is going to begin. During this, the only thing you have to worry about is winning your own duels. If everything was done properly up until this point, something happens during the tournament where you will have to step in and again just be by their side and say that you're going to fight in the place of anybody who might not be able to fight. And once you're done with the tournament and have actually won against the Brotherhood, you're just going to have to wait about 3 to 4 in-game days and then talk to Manhard once again. Point at which all of his entourage has moved to the new location and now you can start looking into your rewards. And once you're done with that, you can just follow the dialogues the normal way, and here are the rewards that you're going to get from Manhard. One of them is going to be the Master Longsword, which is actually a really awesome one. It comes in with like 128 damage. So if you don't have anything better by this point, this may just be the best option for you. His sword will definitely help in combat. He's also going to teach you a bunch of very special techniques, so I'm going to probably butcher the name right here, but this is called the Oben Abnehmen, and this is basically a feign of 3-hit combo. Basically left, down, right, which is going to perform this action right here, where you kind of do this feign that eventually slaps the enemy with the sword in the face. So it's pretty great and rather easy to pull off, but there's an alternative to this if you go with what I would say to be the bad ending. So in the bad ending, like I said, after you have seen the plan from Manhard, you're going to go ahead and announce the butcher at his shop. Point at which he's going to devise his own plan in which you're still going to steal that sword and display it on the town hall, except now he's going to give you a key that will make this much easier. But it's just the key at the house, so in this case you're still going to want to use that adjacent alley to the right side. There's also an open window to the left of the same building, but in this case, using the platforms again and going inside, you're going to retrieve the sword once again. Place it at the town hall as usual, and again as usual, just notify Manhard. Point at which you're going to again confront the Brotherhood in the town square, where the slightly different scene will kick in. This time around, they will know it was Henry that stole the sword. However, the only penalty you will get is that the Brotherhood gets to wear armor during the tournament, while your own team will not. And from here, you're still going to have the possibility to side with Manhard instead. As you can see, you have both the option during those to side with either part or the other. But if you want to ensure that the Brotherhood is the one that wins, you're going to want to just give up during a couple of the matches. Just make sure that they have more score points than your own team. So in this case, don't make it too obvious, squeeze in a few hits, get hit yourself, and then surrender a couple of times to give them the higher score. At the end of it, you're going to have a disappointing ending with Manhard, but you can now go ahead and talk to the Brotherhood members. So now you're going to be officially a member of the Brotherhood. If you go ahead and talk to Amurem, he's going to give you his hunting sword, which basically looks like a machete. It's definitely one of the more unique short swords I've seen in the game, comes with an amazing hilt, and it's also decent in terms of damage. Besides that, he can also teach you Journeyman, heavy weapons, unarmed, and even Houndmaster for 1500 Groschen, which is going to give you a huge boost in all of those XPs. But once you're done talking to him, you can now talk to Master Nicholas back at the headquarters in the same area, and this time around you can go ahead and learn a different ability from him. So this is the ability right here. It's whatever this is called, but it's up, left, right, and it's an even better thing. I would say this is a much better combo. It's almost like a Master Strike, a mini Master Strike that similarly hits the target in the forehead, but with great force, and it also looks quite satisfying. Plus, he can also teach you a bunch of other things, like for example with blunt as well as with unarmed weapons. There's one for the unarmed that performs a headbutt, which is hilarious but also deals a ton of damage, so maybe you may also want to go with the bad ending, quote unquote. Oh, and by the way, it doesn't matter which ending you have picked. In both of the situations, you're going to get your own room inside of the building where you can sleep and save your game, plus have access to your own stash. And now that you're done, the only thing remaining is to start the weekly tournament. Whichever party controls that will pop up that mission on this side of the map right here at the same location, so speak to them to start the tournament. And in this case, I recommend participating in all of the 3 challenges, so Sword and Shield, Longsword, as well as Free for All, which is going to maximize your reward. You can even pay some extra like 100 Groschen, which is going to let you spend all the time over there to quickly pass the time to the tournament day, and you can then start it with full HP and fully rested. And from this point on, it should go pretty smoothly. There are some tips and tricks that I have for you. One is that you can just grab tournament gear for free from this guy. You don't even have to pay for it, and at the end of the tournament you can just give it back, or you can pay the 500 Groschen to have it permanently. It is up to you. Second of all, every week those challengers become slightly better, to the point that by the 7th week they seem to constantly pull off back-to-back Master Strikes against you if you constantly attack from the opposite side. So in this case, make use of Master Strikes yourself, attack from below, be on your toes, and you should fare really well against literally all of them. Also, another thing, you can now skip time during other people's fights, unlike how it was during the main mission. So for example, if other combatants are fighting, you can just skip 1 hour and the game will immediately unpause the moment they are finished, so that you can faster go towards your challenges and win those rewards. And also during the start as well as the end of every fight, you can raise your arms as well as your weapon in the air. And one thing that I noticed that really pleases the crowd is if you dodge attacks instead of parrying them. For some reason, the crowds just go berserk when they see you dodging incoming attacks. And with that, it should pretty much be settled. Again, once you're done with this, you can go ahead and open each respective chest for each of the 3 respective challenges. So in total, by the 7th week, it should look something like this, about almost 4,000 Groschen for the full challenge, plus 3 items from the end game pool of items. So that's not going to take too long for you to finish a full set or get some amazing items in there. And with that, we're pretty much done. Let me know down below in the comments, are you taking part in the tournament? And if so, what's the best item that you have won up until now? In the meantime, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.